And I am Reggie.
And this is RAndBTalks. As you can tell, my friend Reggie's about to go on vacation, so he's all loosey-goosey.
Well, today,
loosey-goosey.
And today, man, it's just been like, I've just been rolling one thing right after the other. And like, I just got done on the roar when you got here and ate a steak, and then here I am.
Getting your row on.
And so I haven't changed anything. Hence the bandana.
It's okay.
You know, when you don't have hair, you kind of don't understand, hair serves a purpose sometimes with the sweat and everything.
It does. It does. Even my short hair serves a purpose.
Dude, if I don't have a bandana on, it's just all in my eyes. It's just all the sweat in my eyes.
But then sometimes even the hair doesn't help.
Yeah, probably not. But
So
here we are. I got poison oak on my where I wear my watch, so that's been really fun to experience this week too.
Sounds like a hoot.
Very much a hoot.
A hoot. Yeah.
I'm about to peel my skin off.
Don't peel your skin off. That's ill-advised.
They frown on that, don't they?
Well, I think it would make it worse. Just from the layman's perspective, I would say that would make it worse. Right? I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on television, but I feel like that would make it worse, Reg.
Yeah. All right, so I think we got to acknowledge one thing, that's really big that everybody else has, but I just want to I say that the memorial service for Charlie Kirk was unbelievable.
It's pretty cool.
I didn't watch all of it. Let me preface that by saying that, and really, I actually didn't watch a whole lot of it at all, but and I'll say I'm basing that on the impact that it apparently had with what I've seen on social media stuff and other things where, there was, for one, they're estimating now like 300,000 people were trying to go see it. And, of course the stadium went to capacity, then the other stadium went to capacity.
Yeah. The 90,000 capacity in the main stadium, and then the overflow stadium got full, and they said they turned probably close to 100,000 people away.
Yeah. That's insane, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
More than the Super Bowl.
I watched most of it, but I watched it in pieces just because I couldn't sit and watch that. I'd watch for 15 minutes and then stop. But I feel like the thing that I noticed most about it was it really wasn't an idolization of Charlie Kirk. It was what I would like my funeral to be, man, a rejoicing of my life and the things that I did and the people who love me. It was very much a celebration of a dude who at 31 years old got his life taken from him. And it was, but of course, and I didn't watch it. I was told by somebody today that there were some of our favorite, oddball characters out on the CNNs and the MSNBCs defaming him as they actually had the thing, which, just another level of classlessness and disdain for anything on the left at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't figured this out already, I mean, it's really freaking obvious. I mean, I don't understand. This is what I'm saying. Like anymore, at this very minute, like I find no reason to debate a moron who has this ideology. I just think it's like arguing with a fool, man. I'm just, I'm
in the same place I was before, and here's where I'm at. If you can find me someone on the left that can sit down in front of me and educatedly defend their position, I would love to talk to them. But unfortunately, to this point, in what I would say are close to 100 conversations I've had, not a single one has been able to give a factual, educated defense of their position. It's always hate you fascist pig, blah, 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 blah. Like it's never, oh, sure, well, here's the 5 tenets of what I believe and the reasons that I believe them, and here's the things that it's never that. It's never that. It's always just this elbows and kneecaps argument that doesn't make any sense. And at the end of it, I feel dumb for even getting involved in it because I'm like, well, maybe this one will be it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not yet. I'm not yet at the point where I'm going to jump into anything anyway. I'm still really sensitive and still really triggered by things. So it's like it's hard for me to be on social media or pay attention to media at the moment, right? I mean,
I'll be honest with you, man. I am I'm trigger exhausted. Like I'm like, I don't even.
Yeah, but like before all this stupid Manjaro stuff, I was very willing and able and did not bother me one iota.
For sure.
And now it's very much everything's more
intense.
And it is more intense.
It's almost like you're under pressure in every conversation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so I've been avoiding the news really, but like I said, the Charlie Kirk thing hit me hard pretty much too. In our church too, man, our church we've had some banger services lately that were just really cool and stuff. So I had my 30th high school reunion.
Wow, how was that?
Last weekend. I really didn't want to go because here I'm at this stage of my life, right? I mean, it's like I really don't, anybody I'm going to hang out with, I'm already hanging out with. Yeah. And anybody that I wanted to hang out with, I mean, is gone or whatever, and I don't even know how to get a hold of it. But I thought, well, it is 30 years, and it's a bunch of people my age. I mean, so this, the odds of the same mentality probably are pretty good. And it was fine, man. It was really fine. But again, being out like that in a crowd of people, and they were all, look, I didn't have a single. It was really even the people that were kind of that I thought were hoity-toity back in the day, who I saw. I didn't stay very long. I only stayed for about an hour and a half, just because anxiety was getting the better of me that evening. And
did you see anybody that you were surprised?
No, I mean surprised in that some of these people, especially the girls, like I was just shocked that they were in as good a shape as they were. And a lot of them didn't recognize me at all, or at least was like, they gave me that because I look completely different.
They're like, are you even?
Yeah, it's like, it was just the shocked look is always fun. Never
been to a class reunion.
Well, I mean, but it was again, it was interesting, and I enjoyed it. I wish I could have stayed longer, but like I said, it wasn't really a fault of anybody, just my own, because I was really feeling a little.
The anxiety was
kicked up a little bit because it's loud and it's and I don't know. It was just look, I can't control when these stupid episodes happen. They're not very long but they do creep up there and I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was cool. Hats off to the people who did that. That was neat. So I guess in when it gets to like the 40 or 45, I guess I'll go. If I'm still kicking. But anyway, so look, today is a little different. Because I'm going on vacation, and
we don't want to get all heavy on you before vacation.
So this is actually releasing while I'm on vacation. Vacation.
Hey,
how did I just say that like a drunkard?
I'm going on vacation.
So today we're just going to talk about like one rule we have for life.
Yep.
And what qualifies it as being a rule, whatever. So I mean,
let's start with that.
Okay.
Qualify what you would consider a rule. What would it be? What would qualify it as a rule?
Okay, I would say it's like a principle that you try to stand by, right? But for me anyway, I'll go.
Would that count even for an action?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I mean, like if you think about a rule, it's like it's like an instruction on how to handle a situation or event.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, the one and it's kind of broad to be honest, but I thought it is the one that is my major one is like, we're only here on this planet for so long. You doesn't, live it up. Right.
Yeah.
That's my pretty much my grounding life principle I live by. And I'll tell you why I say that's a rule, because that kind of goes into like how I spend my money, what I do with my time, all this stuff. If I don't feel, if I really want to chill out and I feel like that's the valuable thing to you at my time, then that's what I'm going to do. Mm. If I feel like I need to be productive and that's what so I live it like that. Like, and we'll get into specifics in a little bit, but that's why this rule for me has been like a rule, and I've stuck to it pretty much. And it's bit me too, by the way, but we'll get into that as well.
Sometimes even the rules bite you, man.
Yeah. I mean,
like sometimes even the rules bite you.
Yep.
I would say I have actually two. Number one is approach every situation in the beginning like nobody knows what's going on. And the reason that I do that is more often than not, nobody actually really does when you get down to whatever's happening. So if I'm in a heightened situation, before I begin to take a side or create an opinion, I approach the situation like nobody in the room has any idea what's going on. So that way I'm not in a prejudiced state of mind when I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Right. And then
dogs barking.
The second thing is that because I'm not making any assumptions, I'm clearly capable of being in control inside of the situation. I've been in too many situations where every party's out of control. And if there's nobody in there with a cool head, it's going to get bad. And it's going to get bad really fast too. It's not going to get bad like in a minute. It's going to get bad really quick.
It kind of almost echoes the rule I was going to go with here was like, so that live life, because you're only here for a short time, but the second runner up to me that I almost went to was don't freak out.
Yeah. Don't freak out. Yeah. Like I try not to freak out, man. I might freak out when it comes to my kids. That's hard not to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's still trying to remain centered during any situation because there's no good that comes out of you being a.
And the other one
chaotic
is
mess.
If I'm the only person in the room that's offended by what's going on, then I have to reassess where I'm at.
Depending on the room, but I have to reassess where I'm at, right? Like if everybody else seems to be cool and calm and having this conversation and I'm the only one in there, I'm like, oh my God, it's terrible. I need to stop, take a breath and be like, is this as bad as I'm making it out to be, or am I just overreacting? And now my runner-up rule for all of these, and it's still a rule I live by, but it's one I don't talk about a lot, is it's okay to be the villain. And what I mean by that is if protecting my peace and my family's peace makes me the enemy in your story, I'll gladly be the enemy. I like that. That's a good one.
You know, it's not an ego thing or a masculine. It's just, dude. I mean, if my wife and children's state of mind and well-being comes first, and if I am somehow offending you, making you angry, or making you think I'm a bad person because I'm not putting you first, then you can make me the villain in your story. It's okay.
Or even if they are they're in the wrong or doing something in the wrong towards you or your family.
Yeah.
You better think I am the villain.
Yeah. And I
don't care.
My thing is, but that also goes along with something that you know very much about me is I really don't care what people think of me. I really don't care. Hate me, love me. I hope you like me, but at the end of the day, if you don't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
I mean, I battled that a lot too, dude. Like when I was for instance, I thought about this when I was at the 30th reunion. I did want to be popular. I cared about what people thought, but then the overriding core of my being, this blunt, honest, transparent dude, just wouldn't let that happen, because and that was my other rule. Almost went with was fact over feelings for every time.
Well, but like for me, and it's really strange. Even as a kid, my circle was really tight.
Yeah,
I only had one or two people I hung out with, and the rest of the people, if I saw you, I saw you. If I didn't, I didn't. Right, and it's even caused my wife to at times be like, we know all these people. No, I know a few people. I don't know all these people. I'm aware of them, but I don't know them, right? Like, but there's nothing that runs me more ragged than somebody who walks up to me and pats me on the back. Like, how you doing, my friend? I'm not your friend. You don't know me. I'm not mad at you. I'm glad you are assuming the outcome, but like, no, we're not friends. We're not.
Yeah.
That friend is something you earn, and then you haven't earned it.
So I would say out of all the rules we've already said, though, some of them don't really meet my criteria of a good rule, though.
Yeah.
Like the one I was really going with is because it's just the one I think about the most. But like I would think a good rule needs to be almost like a binary choice, like it's a yes or no kind of thing, or if it's a almost like it's really simple to calculate where it stands or something. And like for me to say like life is short, live it, that's too broad and there's too many things to it. And you could break that down into other things, but I think I do want to stick to that just because that is the overriding thing I think about all the time.
Makes sense.
For you though, I think you could pretty much make that binary, bro.
Yeah.
I think that's easy.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is people don't realize this, and this is what really kind of torques me out, man, is there's a lot of binary rules in our lives that are just there.
Ton.
Like when people get mad at the 10 Commandments, it's just a binary. Tell me one you don't agree with. Don't sleep with another man's wife or another woman's husband. Don't murder people. Don't steal. Don't lie. Dude, it's not like it's like, don't close one eye for 11 and a half seconds at any given. It's not these arbitrary garbagey rules, right? It's the framework of the 10 Commandments are binary and easy to follow because who doesn't agree with them?
Well, there's actually several people. There's been debate about the 10 Commandments, to be honest, and it's really silly.
Well, I'll tell you what was funny. I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and Matthew McConaughey was on there, and Joe is very yeah. Joe's very anti 10 Commandments in the schools. Well, Matthew McConaughey is very for 10 Commandments in the schools. Well, what was funny was he goes, well, why aren't you, Matthew McConaughey asked him, he goes, why weren't you okay with the 10 Commandments in schools? And Joe was like, well, it's just rules and rules. And then Matthew McConaughey goes, okay, give me one that you don't agree with. And Joe went, and couldn't go. And I was like, exactly, because they're just binary rules, man. You don't murder, you don't steal, you don't commit adultery, you don't lie, before you don't put another God before me. There's all these. They're just binary rules, man. It's not complicated, right? Like that's the thing I think that aggravates me the most about when people start wailing on Christians is, listen, dude, we're not complicated creatures. Really, if you get down to the brass tacks of what we are, we have a book of 10 Commandments that we are to follow. If we follow those, we're good. Not 50, not 600, 10. 10 rules.
Yeah, 10 rules, and then those 10 rules encompass everything.
Well, and if you look at all of the stories in the Bible, if you look at all of the parables in the Bible, everything that you read in the Bible, they all follow back to one of those 10 Commandments.
They all do, yeah.
So it's not, or some of them follow back to multiples of the 10 Commandments, right?
They do.
But I think I think you're right. I think, and you see this in a lot of the anti-establishment people. I think you saw a lot of it back in the 70s. I think, and weirdly enough, I think this started back with the hippie movement in the 70s. This over exaggeration of what the rules could mean.
Yeah, peace and love to the extreme.
Well, not even that. Like, well,
that was
you're all about not murdering somebody. Well, what if you had to murder somebody? Well, that's not murder. That's self-defense. You're mixing up your definitions, right? Like if you kick in my front door and you attack my family and I kill you, that's defending my family. That's self-defense. If I run into your house and just shoot you, that's murder. There's definable differences between the two, right? Like you can't just start muddling stuff up and making up stuff. And then there's my favorite people who are the ones that like, there is no moral center. It's just whatever your moral,
whatever your heart leads you.
Yeah, if you want to have 25 affairs and you want to do it, it's just you. You just got to accept that it's you. And no, you're a moron, and you obviously didn't have anybody to teach you any better. So that being said, Yes, I think all rules. I think a good thing. That's a great statement that all rules are binary.
Well, yeah. Well, I think what I'm saying is a good rule should be binary, right?
Well, because I don't call bad rules rules though. I just call them stupid.
Stupid. Daggone stupid.
Stupid. 10-4, buddy. I'm sorry. We were talking about Smokey and the Bandit earlier.
I know, man.
I mean, anybody who tells me that they could watch that movie and not be at least semi-entertained, you're suspect to me. Something's wrong. Like, how can you not love Burt Reynolds and a Trans Am and Enos and his little brother or his cousin? I don't remember. And their little white cowboy suits.
I know,
which was weird as it was.
Come on now.
But anyway, all right. I'm sorry. I got off on a rabbit trail about.
All right. So look. So your rule. Tell us a story about how it won and won the day, bro. Let's hear it.
Which rule?
We're only talking one rule here, bro.
Okay.
We can get into other ones if we have time.
Perfect example.
First, state your rule.
My rule. Always approach a situation like you have no idea what's going on.
What if you're a moron, though? That happens more times than not.
I know. But a great example of how this worked is my grandmother was sick for a very long time. She was. And I really kind of started following this rule back in my early 20s. And she wasn't far from passing away. And for some reason, my family thought the best thing to do was to fight. So I go into the waiting room of the hospital where my grandfather and my uncle is and my aunt and then my grandfather's sister. And there's a full-on bicker fest going on, like just chopping at everybody's knees, bicker fest. So I walked in and I just started asking questions. It's like, so what are we fighting about? And then somebody says something and I'm like, does everybody agree that that's what we're fighting about? Well, no, this person does. So I immediately realized that nobody actually knows what's going on, right? So after asking a few questions and everybody's looking at each other, because I'm like, so nobody knows what you're fighting about. And they're like, no. And I'm like, could it be possible that everybody's a little bit upset that we're about to lose a family member and you're just taking it out on each other? And nobody said anything. They all just looked at me and I was like, okay, so I know what I need to know. And I got everybody calmed down. I took everybody downstairs. We went to the cafeteria, got us a soda pop, cooler heads prevailed. But most of the time arguments are emotional. Arguments, I will say. When you're full on raising voices and all that stuff, that's just emotion taking control, right? So I just think that you have to, and trust me, I've been in places where my immediate knee-jerk reaction was to just fight. Just let's just dump in. But then I'm like, well, no, then I'm going to have a headache and this is going to be even stupider. So that's a great example of how it worked. Another example would be, when my sons are fighting. They're brothers, right? They're going to fight. So my first and initial response to their fight is to find out if they are actually fighting about the same thing. And usually they're not. They might be, the subject matter might be the same, but their point of views are not the same. And they're yelling over each other to try to impose their will. And once you walk into that and you calm it down and everybody realizes that maybe we're just a little bit out of control and probably should relax, it's amazing how smoothly things will go after that. Now, have I been in situations where it doesn't work at all? Yeah. But usually that's when you've walked in too late. You're in the fire at that point.
Yeah, it's out of control.
And nobody's going to calm down.
Yeah.
And at that point, the best thing to do is just scatter everybody. Everybody get out. Everybody go your own way. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Take a day, maybe 2 days. And then let's get back together and talk about this, right? But that for me has been the main thing, is when it's a family disputes, man. When you walk in and you're like, yeah, I don't think either side really knows exactly what they're fighting about. I think they know what they're talking about, but the emotions are high and everybody's trying to enforce an opinion, and that's a good story. What about you? Give me a situation where your rule, where you went YOLO on somebody. You only live once.
Well, it's like, I'll tell you where this happened, and this is where, and this is kind of a broad example, but like with my kids, I only got a short time.
Yeah.
on this planet, right? And my girls are only going to want daddy around for a short time.
Yeah.
You can always make more money.
Yeah.
You can always make more money, but I cannot take back and redo a day or a week or a year. So the way I've been doing this is especially true since I've been married and have a family. Like, you know, I do not miss a chance to bond or share time with my family. And I just don't. I mean, like, and there's sometimes obviously where it's like, you just can't, but I mean, like, if there's an opportunity, I'll choose it. So there is no doubt. And like, here's what that's led to though, is like, you know, there's no doubt that my girls know me and they know how I feel and about them. Like there's no doubt about that. Right. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't have to, that a lot of guys have to question because they spent all their time working. They do this or what, all this stuff is in the way. So I would say that that's probably my biggest thing about a win. And I'll fit, you know, and look, I don't know for sure how effective that is until, you know, they get grown and they, you know, look back on it and, you know, that kind of stuff. But I mean, you know, at least I know for now, you know, I know how that is. Same thing with my wife though. It's like where my time and my money goes is like, it's really to experience the whatever we can, the best we can. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We're in the heat of the battle right now with my family in the sense of, you know, financial and all that stuff. And I'm still trying to find ways to experience stuff with my family. Right.
But you're at a different stage though, too, man, than me. Right.
Well, but
you know,
it's much more expensive and the kids are into much more expensive things. And
you get teenagers, man. I got 9, 10 year old dude.
I'm very sad because every contest I go to, it's the last one I'll see Caleb compete. That's the last time I'll see my son compete here. Right.
Yeah,
and,
but, you know.
And I'll be honest with you, working the invitational last week and being in the background and seeing how, and hanging out with the band parents and, you know, and then seeing my son working and playing in jazz band before the concert and then playing during the concert. And man, you just can't, those times don't, you know, Billy Graham said that the only debit that we cannot replenish is time.
That's it.
He goes, once you spend that time, you can't go back and unspend it. There are no refunds. So I really do get where you're coming from, right? Like it's this, you know, and that's why I like yesterday, you know, I took my son, my youngest son, and we hung and we just talked and I just listened. And for me, that's the coolest thing is that my kids are comfortable enough to talk to me about the stuff that they need to talk about, even hard stuff, right? We talk about it. And that's, those times those will be the things I remember when they're out on their own, doing their own thing and living their lives and conquering the world and doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. I'll remember those will be the times I hold the dearest, man, is those conversations and, you know, short trips and ball games and concerts and things that you do that are just, at the time they seem like, well, this will be cool. But then you have that memory, right?
So I'll go into the fail here real quick because I think it kind of wraps up why I chose this too. Like when I was younger, you know, we're talking late teens, right? Early 20s. Like my mom died. All my aunts, I mean, like it seemed like just everybody around that raised me just died. Right. Yeah. So it triggered this emphasis on, I don't know when I'm leaving. So I'm going to, you know, whatever it is.
Partying down.
Yeah. So at the time, being, you know, in your late teens, early 20s, very materialistic, you know, so it's like, well, I want this. Well, I'm going to buy it. I don't care. Right.
Yeah.
And so what that leads to is some pretty stupid financial moves. Right. I mean, that's what happens when you take that without wisdom. And so over the years though, that has morphed. Right. So, I mean, because I remember one time I really wanted this stereo, and it was a classic story about you get some money and you buy a stereo. It was exactly that. And so I went in and blew a bunch of money on a stereo. you know, and I won't go into the details. I thought it was awesome. I still think it's awesome, but you know, it was silly. It was totally dumb. Right. Now, did that grant me like some happiness for like a little bit? Sure. But like it's, I don't have it anymore. I mean, you know, it's not like it survived a long time. There was many examples of that though, that I did, right? Because
mine was my first computer. Dude, I went to CompUSA, bought this giant compact desktop tank. It had 32 gigs of memory.
Well, probably at 32 megs at that time.
No, it was gigs because that's why I bought it, because I could download all the musics. And then, like in a year, they introduced the first 100 gig computer, and I was like,
done.
But you know, I think, don't get me wrong, there's creature comforts that I enjoy. I like a good hoodie. I like a good, comfortable pair of shoes.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, like now, you know, you transition that because the rule is much more applied in a wisdom scenario, right? Because now it's not. I'm not just thinking about what stuff I want.
Yeah,
there's like I'm looking ahead a lot more and looking and planning and doing all this other stuff to kind of make sure what I want in the future is going to be available, not just what I want now. But what I want now, though, does take a priority, though. And what I mean is it's not, but it's less material stuff. It's almost like, you know, it's just like, well, what can I do? And it's usually stuff I buy that enables me to do something I want to do. Right. It's not really necessarily just like something I'll put on the wall. You know, it's different.
Dude, I'm struggling because at this point, you know, I've had like 10 people give me the same advice. You've given me this advice. You got to find a hobby. I can't even begin to think of something I want to do that's a hobby outside of going to the gym. But I don't consider the gym a hobby. I consider that a must do. Like that's my mental health is wrapped up in that. But like people say, well, Brian, you get a hobby. Well, I like music, but I'm one of those dudes that when I bought my first stereo, like I went and bought the stack receiver and I went and picked my speakers and I picked my CD carousel and I built my stereo and then I collected my CDs and my cassettes and you can't do that now because nobody sells stack stereo systems anymore.
Well, they do.
Yeah, but they're not like they used to be and they're horribly expensive.
Oh yeah. Well, because now it's like all the, you know, you got like tube amplifiers and all this kind of stuff. And all this high end stuff that's there because everybody's using their phone.
Well, yeah. And on top of that, like, you know, I was actually kind of looking the other day and like there are no cassette players or CD players really anymore. Everything's USB or USB-C so that you can plug your phone into it and you play your Spotify through your home stereo. And I'm like, dude, whatever happened to like, remember you had the album and you had the album brush and you brush off the album and you look at it, make sure there's no scratches and you put it on the turntable and albums have that sound. You can't remake that sound. Although I did see an app I almost bought the other day where it would, if you turn it on your phone, it would make the music coming through your phone sound like it was playing on an LP, which I don't know if that would work.
It's just an emulator. It's not that great.
So, but anyway,
collecting vinyl and like listening to vinyl is a hobby.
Yeah, but
don't get me wrong,
a horribly expensive.
Oh yeah,
hobby.
Because your turntables and the needles and all this stuff, you know, the speakers and stuff. Oh man, especially when you get into hi-fi stuff. That's like, you know, I mean, keep in mind, I used to sell that, right? I used to sell the hi-fi stuff at a specialty place, but yeah, I hear you. Yeah. That's what I did. But the tweak that really makes it work for me is just it's not so much about your wants and need, you know, right now. There's like, I'm wise enough to consider, you know, I got my family and this and that. And it's just like, you have to put all those pieces together to figure that out. But at the end of the day, I don't worry. I'm not trying to leave like, I'm not trying to leave a bunch of stuff behind after I go, you know. I'm really focused on just what I want to do during this life and how productive I want to be for his kingdom in this life, and it's not. So it doesn't. It's a different mindset than when it was when I was younger, and that's what makes it work for me now.
Very true.
So how tell me about a fail, Brian, with the old like coming into this situation and being zero about it.
I used to referee church league basketball.
Sweet.
And let me be honest, man. I heard far worse in church league games than I ever heard refereeing like high school or dirt bowl. Let's be honest, man. I'm just being truthful. So, and this is just tit for tat, probably about as bad as it could get. Parents start arguing in the stands. I blow my whistle. I stop the game. I go into the stands. I start to do my thing and realize these dudes are about to fight. Like, this has gone beyond like, let's yell at each other. These dudes are rolling up sleeves and they're about to throw blows. So I get them separated. The other referee, there was two of us. We get them separated. One guy leaves. We go back down on the court. We start to referee the game again, pick back up. Brother comes back in with a baseball bat. And I'm like, crap. So the other referee looks at me. I stop the game again because I'm the head referee. We go over there. I stop this guy, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm cracking heads, basically, is what he communicated to me. So I looked at him and I said, dude, if you don't leave, you've already been ejected. If you don't leave, I'm gonna call the game and give it to the other team. I was like, hoping that would stop him, right? So he calls me on my bluff. So I literally tee up the coach twice and then call the game. And we're only like halfway through the second quarter. So essentially what I did at that point was made everybody mad. So me and the other referee are in the middle of what is about to be a riot at a church league gymnasium basketball game. So I look at the other dude and I'm like, man, we got two choices in this. I was like, we can either, go Kratos in this piece and start taking people out, or we can leave. And so I actually I had to call the cops to come and break it up. Like, I had to call police in to keep a actual fisticuffs brawl from breaking out of the church league, thinking I was going to go in there and be like, do my whole act like you don't know nothing thing. And it turned into that. Yeah. And what's worse was it was in a church gymnasium.
Fail, bro.
At like 7:30 on a Tuesday night.
Fail.
It was awful.
All right. So what is the tweak though that makes it work more for you now?
I think that I'm just more mature as an individual, and I have more of a sense of discernment. Like, I don't try to roll into situations that aren't mine. You know what I'm saying?
There's a life lesson.
Sometimes you're not going to squash other people's beef, no matter how hard you try.
Yeah, I mean.
So I think that's the tweak for me is as I've gotten older, my discernment into whether I'm involved in what is going on within the realm of what I can control, as opposed to trying to roll into something that there may not be a control for.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's the thing. It's like, after a while, you've been living life and doing things, and here you are, and you kind of pick up on, you know what? That's probably not something I should get in the middle of. And it's just more, your life experience just becomes more valuable.
Yeah.
Like, I've kind of been here before. Let's not do that. Yeah, that's funny. I would say there's a lot of times where the assumption train just goes nuts.
Oh, for sure.
And really coming in and saying, I'm starting from zero.
Yeah.
Would just be a huge advantageous move for, especially in a debate situation.
Yeah.
which they kind of sort of teach
Well,
you.
they kind of all start as a debate situation, sort of, right?
Yeah, it depends. Right. But, you know, I remember I did get in the middle of a thing one time when I was playing drums around and doing all that kind of stuff. Well, actually, I shouldn't say one time. There's many times. Because you always end up with, when you're playing at bars and stuff, you're likely going to run into a situation where somebody's really drunk and they think somebody did this or whatever.
Alcohol is a great argument dynamite, man.
You know, an interesting story about just totally disengaging, which is kind of off the track, but it's kind of funny. I'm playing at this biker bar, and this woman, she was clearly inebriated, was sitting down, and I'm walking by, and she pulls my arm and sits me down in the booth, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, can I help you? She's like, you're a really good drummer. I'm like,
thank you.
Thanks. And then this dude comes up and sits down, and he's got this look on his face, and she goes, what's your effing problem? And he's like, he just asked you to go on his back. I looked, I said, brother, you see that drum kit up on stage? I said, that doesn't fit on a motorcycle, man. I didn't come here in a motorcycle, man. It didn't?
No.
Well, how are you going to take her on the back of your back? And so at that point, I mean, I'm just...
You're like, yeah, this is not going to work.
There's no sense in me being there. I'm like, I tell you what, why don't you sit here and figure that out? I'm going to go get a drink.
Yeah.
And so I just left, you know.
I'm going to go do something.
But it's funny is this dude was, he was like getting purple in his face. Like he was mad, you know, but he's drunk too. So, and it was okay. And it's like stuff like that. You just got to laugh at. One time though, I did step in front of somebody because it was like the one dude's brother had gotten a thing with this other guy. And then he shows up at the thing. And so now my guitar player is like ready to go to blows with this dude who punched his brother or something. And like, we got a night to do, or so I don't get paid. So it's like, I just step in front of it in the middle of it and go, look, I need my guitar player to play tonight or else I don't get paid. So like, if you really want to go down this road, I'm going to step in and make sure that this is over really quick.
Yeah. We're going to stop this now.
Yeah. It was, you know, we're talking younger years when I was a very fit guy, you know, so it was a little different for me then. And I was just, but I was really cocky with that too, but that's another thing. But anyway, it was just funny. Many times, there's been so many times like that. But getting back to your rule, you know, just being aware that you can pick up a lot from observation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think adding on to your rule, like be quiet first and then before you say anything. I know I've been accused of like sitting in the corner of the room and like not like, why are you over here all by yourself? And it's kind of like, yeah, well, I've just been kind of
just watching what's happening.
I'm just kind of taking it in a little bit just to see what's up, you know?
Yeah. And that's normally what I do. When I first walk into the situation, I'm like, and I'll listen for a second. And I'm like, because you can usually pick up pretty quickly if it's going to go south.
But anyway, so yeah, I hear you, man. That's pretty cool.
You know, for Christmas, I'm going to buy you a YOLO t-shirt, right?
YOLO.
You only live once. YOLO.
But I'll tell you, man, I mean, like, you know, I just, like I said, I swear by it almost anymore, but it's more complicated than a binary rules where I was kind of, it's not a good one because there's a lot of ways you can, there's a big question of like what, because it's not binary, because there's so many different situations, right?
Yeah.
But it does come down to like, you know, there would be like, well, you know, some dude, like for instance, pipes. All right. Now, even though I'm taking a break, and by the way, not that there's nothing wrong. I just I took a break during this whole Majaro thing because it was amplifying the symptoms at night for stuff. So I had to abstain. And I just thought, well, I do this every once in a while where I'll just abstain for a little bit just to make sure it doesn't control my life. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. It's just a little period here where you know, I figure I probably need to get some new life insurance anyway for that. So it's might as well, you know, anyway, that's why that is. I still love them and I'm still going to go back to it on occasion. So anyway, but like for like pipes and stuff, a lot of these are like handmade from in just one at a time from an individual, and they're not cheap. But it's one of those things where you're like, well, that's only going to come up, and it's only going to come up now.
Yeah.
And if you don't take care, you don't take advantage of it, it won't. Now, I'm not spending my last dollar. That's not what I'm saying. It's like, but I'll sometimes say, well, I have some disposable income at the moment or whatever. Yeah. Sure. That's just one example of
this is a Cal Varnson original.
Yeah, but so like Paul's pipes. I've had his stickers and a lot of his pipes and stuff, and
it's the same for me. Like I'll be on.
Usually, it should use yours with shoes.
Mine's with like t-shirts and hoodies now. Like if I'll find like a really cool t-shirt or hoodie, and I'm like, it's $20, right? It's $30. But it has to be something pretty that hits my eye just right, and it's pretty exceptional. Like 8 Man Strong just came up with they just released their competition T-shirt for the 2025 West Coast Powerlifting Championships, and it's just you can buy it. So yeah, I ordered one of those because it's only going to come out once, and it's a limited edition, and I wanted it, so I spent the $22. And bought the T-shirt. So, I'm
trying to find this. Keep I'm
honestly, man, I'm trying to think of like, let's talk a second about what happens when you don't have rules. Like when you don't have a good compound rule for your life. It's more than just chaos, man. You find yourself in a lot of situations where you're easily mentally swayed. Because I think a lot of having a good binary rule helps with mental stability. It gives you mental strength and sharpness. I'm not going to break this rule, right? I know where this will take me. I wish more people thought of it that way instead of thinking of rules as some destructive thing that steals their freedom. I don't agree with that at all. Like I can choose not to follow my rule, but I know what happens if I don't. Chaos and disorder, and things don't get solved, and everybody's freaking out, and you're just literally in this spiral of crap, right? That doesn't make any sense, and nobody can figure out what your deal is. And I just don't want to be involved in that anymore. I like to have a little bit of order to my life, right? Like I don't want to have just a complete and utter loss of the ability to keep myself calm. I like it. I'm going to have to, bro. That you should. It's Iron Panda. I love their brand.
Yeah.
I love their brand. Have you seen the one where it's the donut deadlifting? I want that one.
Anyway, sorry, you said it's about shirts.
But anyway, I don't think that, I think that living in chaos, it just kills everything. Mental, physical, emotional, because you're always dealing with some existential garbage crisis. Like just suck it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that in a way, because I think a lot of times I think everybody needs principles to live their life by, right?
Yes.
I mean, and principles are a sort of, I would say that's a type of rule, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of what walking the path of Christ, walking in his footsteps, dude. I mean, you have some significant principles that you're abiding by and trying to live through.
Very true.
And it sets yourself up for, you're really just setting it up for a winning hand instead of, just half cocked and doing things that, it's just chaos at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's relativism anyway. So, I mean, there you go. But
very true.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, so I think at the end of the day, like I one of the things I thought of, let's do a 30-day subscribe, tell the people, hey, do a 30-day but I wouldn't advise my rule for that. Just because I think that has to be learned and experienced and stuff. So, I mean, unfortunately for my 30-day template to like pressure test that rule is probably not the way to go. I would say the fact over feeling one probably is, but we didn't really get into that, and I don't want to right now because we're at the end of our show. But I think yours is probably something you could have a 30-day kind of test to like test your rule out if somebody really wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to try it, it takes a lot of resolve in the beginning because as men, especially if you're a guy, your immediate want is to fix the situation instantly. You have to take a little bit of that back and be like, all right, I got to know the situation before I can fix it, right? Which is going to take a little bit of patience and a little bit of time for me to sit back and say, all right, what is going on?
So I think here I'll say this. Here's one playbook to go by, and it encompasses both the start from zero, but also factor feeling. It's like start from zero.
Yeah.
Get the facts first, right?
Yeah.
In situations, be observant, look around first. So there's a whole bunch of rules you put together in here. I think if you're really talking about a situation, like come in with zero assumptions, start with just the facts of what you know and what you can verify. Mm-hmm. Listen first before you talk.
Ask questions. Don't answer questions that haven't been asked.
Yep. And then that's what there's several of them right there you could apply in just
and part of it too is assume nothing. Like you might hear somebody say something and you may think, oh, I know why he said that. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have no idea. So just, I would encourage people to try to pressure test that for conflict. And here's another way it works. It's when I'm in conflict with my wife and I are having some conflict. Stop talking and listen to her and try to understand and then respond, right? Like, we had an issue come up one time. It was a little bit earlier today. It wasn't a bad issue, but I could hear that she was trying to get something across to me. So I literally just stopped talking. And I was like, okay, listen. And then once she was done, I started asking questions. Why is this on the forefront of your mind? Is there something that happened today? Are you okay? Is there something that you need that you're not wanting to tell me? Like all these questions that I'm asking, not because I think anything's wrong, but they're leading me somewhere, right? They're leading me to a conversation that I need to have. So it doesn't have to be a group of people. It can be just a person you're talking to. A lot of people get upset over what might seem super silly to you, but to them it's super serious. Who knows why, but it is. So you just have to be really kind of there and present in the conversation, right? In order to be able to respond properly, I would say, because it's easy to respond improperly.
Yeah. Well, cool.
So,
there's some rules that we
yes,
or some of our principles that are cool. Some are good, some are bad, but either we are. So
I think good, bad, right or wrong. It's good to try new things to help, give your life some good framework, right? That's what rules are, really, is just framework.
Yeah. So again, I'll be this episode will come out when I'm already on vacation.
So there'll be like a 2-week gap.
No, I mean, I think
you're gone all next week, right?
Yeah.
And then we won't shoot again until the following Wednesday, which means it won't drop until Thursday or Friday.
Oh, that's true.
So it's about 2 weeks. It's okay. Everybody go take a break. I know you love us. I know you can't get enough of us. You seethe and desire our knowledge. But unfortunately,
we may be able to squeeze one in, dude. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
But
anyway.
This is RAndBTalks.
I'm Brian.
I'm Reggie.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.